Greetings and welcome back to the Michael Dennis Show. I am Michael Dennis coming to you from lovely, gray, South Cincinnati, Ohio. I got to admit, nation, I'm a little under the weather today. I'm a little step behind in my head and in my thoughts. But for those of you who are uninitiated, instead of getting a mistress or a Porsche for a midlife crisis, I'm just going to start a YouTube channel where I talk about professional wrestling. And you know what? This has been a really hard week. It's been a really hard week because last week I went out here and I posted a little video talking about how Okada and Will Ospreay, I think is his name, couldn't draw flies. And, perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps I was a little bit too harsh on those two. Perhaps I should have waited and made another video that said Mercedes Moné, Will Okada, and Will Ospreay and Okada can't draw flies. Because now that Mercedes Moné has premiered over in AEW and nobody showed up to watch and nobody showed up to care, looks like we're kind of 3 for 3 here. I was listening to David Shoemaker's podcast the other day, and the term delusional is the only thing that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about AEW fans. David Shoemaker made a comment about how I forget what his exact words were, but his statement was somewhere along the lines of, well, now AEW has a true superstar on their roster to bring in people and bring in viewers and bring in fans. My first thought when he said that was, isn't this the 6th time you could say that? How many times now has AEW brought in a true star, someone who was with WWF or somewhere else, but now they're here, and now they're here to elevate the brand and bring in new people and bring in new viewers. So that was Cody, and then it was Brian, Punk, Mercedes Moné, who's the brunette over there? Sveldaya, whatever. Adam Cole. Weren't all of these guys big stars? Weren't all of these guys supposed to be great? Weren't they finally supposed to raise the banner of this brand and finally bring in people? What a lot of people don't understand is that everyone on earth who cares about Mercedes Moné, Okada, Will Ospreay is now already watching your show. And all the normies and people like my dad and people who are just normal, who aren't on an internet message board 13 hours a day during the middle of the week, we don't know who these people are, and no one cares. And I always keep thinking about, if I'm flipping through, if I always picture my dad, or my friend's dad, if they were flipping through and they stopped on AEW when Okada came out or Mercedes came out. Mercedes probably doesn't apply to this, but it definitely applies to Okada and Will Ospreay. And you're telling me they're a big deal and how important they are and how these are really big stars. Would my dad stop to watch them? Would a normie stop to watch them? Because the answer is no, they wouldn't. So when they fail that thought experiment, they definitely don't fail the real life experiment. Nobody cares. I'm a person who wanted AEW to succeed. I wanted them to do well. And, I guess maybe I do. Maybe this is great. Maybe this is exactly what I want. As a WWE fan, as a WWE stockholder, I want to thank AEW. I want to thank Tony Khan. I want to thank the delusional neck-bearded fans who champion it and prop it up and tell Tony that he's doing great and they keep this company going, because you guys are giving me the best versions of the product and the best versions of characters I could ever hope for. Cody's a mid-card guy. He goes over to AEW. They let him do his thing. He returns a better version of Cody. Punk goes to AEW. He gets a few things out of the system, realizes what it's actually like working somewhere else. Comes back, I get the best version of Cody. Mercedes Moné went out on TV, an interview just last week, and commented about how she'll eventually go back to WWF. As a WWF fan and stockholder, I'll now get the better version of her after she's gone off and done something else, elevated, and then came back. So I think I gotta just really I gotta thank AEW. I gotta thank you. I gotta thank the neckbeards. If it weren't for you guys, what would we have? You know, would Drew even be in a position where he's interesting for the first time in 10 years if it weren't for him threatening to leave? We wouldn't have Punk. We wouldn't have this version of Cody. We'll have a version of Mercedes Moné in a couple of years. I should be thanking on my hands and knees. Thank you AEW neckbeard fans. Thank you for convincing Tony Khan to lose another $40 million and to give me, a WWF stockholder, a better version of a pro wrestler to make even more money with in 2026. I can't wait. A few other things I wanted to talk about real quick before I wrap this up. Cody and the Crybabies, the Cody Crybabies. Rock comes out, cuts a promo, calls Cody a crybaby, calls all of his fans crybabies, and then Cody goes on Monday night this past week and cries. If I were Cody Rhodes, the last thing I would have ever done was to go back on television and cry after The Rock called me a crybaby. The man's right. When the man's right, the man's right. And what else can you really say about it? I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious. I bought a copy of WWE 2K24 earlier this week, yesterday to be exact. So I'm in the middle of playing through it. It's good. I don't know why there are 5 versions of Cody on the box. There's like 4 on the cover, and then there's 1 on the back. Do we really need 5 versions of Cody? It should have been just the 1 version of Cody on the cover, and then put the digital version of him on the back. I don't understand why there's 4 Cody Rhodes on the cover of 1 video game. There's less Marios on a cover of Mario. I don't have 6 Zeldas. I don't have 6 Links on the cover of Zelda. What the hell's going on here? I also saw this week that The Rock has come out with a line of skincare for men. Here's what it looks like. This should be called The Rock. Why isn't this called arm butter? Why isn't this just The Rock's arm butter? The man's covered in arm butter. The Fast and Furious franchise was rebuilt on the slippery slope of The Rock's arm and his arm butter. Why isn't this just called The Rock's arm butter? There's a guy in Hollywood on a set. Well, maybe he's not on a set right now. There's a guy in Hollywood, and it's his job to keep this giant oil drum filled with arm butter. And then before every scene, just dump in a brush and go over and lather the man up. I want what's in the tub. I want to buy the tub of Rock arm butter. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it works. I know The Rock's arm butter works. Why can't I just buy the arm butter? I genuinely don't understand why this product is branded this way. You know, I work in marketing. As a marketing genius, as a marketing maven, I would have branded it something else, and it would have just been The Rock's arm butter. Do I have any other notes for this week? I just had a couple little quick things I wanted to get off my chest. I want to get an episode out. I feel like there's been a lot going on. I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the internet wrestling community and how much I hate them and everything they're doing with Gunther and Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn, who I was told last year should have beat Roman for the title, when he was in the main event of WrestleMania and won, I was told that wasn't enough, that he was still getting buried, and how Sami Zayn was this all-time great, and he just wasn't getting enough things. He just wasn't getting enough. I'm never watching again unless they put the title on Sammy coming out of Montreal. That's all I heard all last year. And now this year, Sammy won the qualifying match to go fight Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and all those same nerds are on the internet screaming and crying because Chad Gable should have won. He's so good. I'm never watching again if Chad Gable doesn't come out of Philadelphia with the title. You people have the memory of a sitcom. Everything that happens the week before is completely erased in your brain. You have nothing going on up here. So head to the internet message boards and now write about how much you hate Sammy and how much Sammy sucks and No, it should have been Chad Gable. I'm just a casual fan. I watch on occasion. I got a couple of kids. I love reading the scrolls and the message boards. Well, not the message boards. My Twitter feed. I don't put any message boards. Just my Twitter feed. My Twitter feed is blossoming with the internet wrestling community these days. Speaking of which, like, my entire thread this week is on Wednesday. On Wednesday, my entire thread was just like, if you didn't like this AEW promo / match, and you're a piece of shit. And then that AEW promo / match was a piece of shit. If you like it, kill yourself. That's literally the entire thread. That's it. That's all I got for today. I just got done recording an hour-long podcast about Madman and The Sopranos. I don't have much more in me today. This is going to be it. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Like I said, I'm just the king of the casuals. I'm a casual guy coming to you from South Cincinnati, Ohio, here to talk about pro wrestling a couple minutes a week. Thanks so much.